Hi y'all, it's Andrea. Hope you're doing good. Welcome to my home sewing studio. I am going to let you have a look around the space today, literally in every nook and cranny. As of late, I feel like I can't find anything in this space. I'm starting to accumulate duplicates. You know, that's a sure sign that things are not organized. I think part of the problem stems from the last time I rearranged the furniture. So I just don't feel like I have the lay of the land in here. So the second purpose of this video is as a tool for me, and I want to encourage you to do the same thing. I'm going to be able to sit down with a nice cup of tea and rewatch this video and create an inventory list and a treasure map of everything that is in my space. So I want to do this really logical. So I think we'll just work left to right, front to back. So if this sounds like fun to you, do me a huge favor. Give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and we'll jump right in. Okay, working systematically here, left to right. I have some IKEA cabinets here. And remember, nothing is organized, but this is just a tool for me to show you places you have never seen and document what I have. So here are my binding punches, origami paper, real punches, some journals, a brand new Quilt Builder card deck that I need to get out of the box and use, my super fun color cards. These things need to come out and be used on the daily. Some thread that might be fun for making mixed media journals. Some really pretty fabric that I got from a friend. Some tequila. Cheers. Here's the mess. Loads of reading glasses. Come on now. A old Janome, which actually I think still works, and I ought to get this machine out and plug it in, because if I remember correctly, I really like sewing on that. Scissors, my favorite little hammer. Some pretty fabric. More fabric, like this needs to get folded. This is knit fabric that's perfect for garment sewing, mixed with some home decor and some cotton. And this here, this is white leather. This could be very cool for something. I wanted to make baby things out of this. This is some double gauze. So, ideas for this cabinet. Oh, and here's another OG machine, Janome Magnolia. So these aren't serving anybody, just tucked here in this cabinet. Note to self, get the machines out of the closet and either use them, sell them, or donate them. Then up top here, embroidery hoops. Then I have a huge collection of planners. These are really nice planners from, you know, probably the last 10-15 years. And I had this idea where they could become junk journals or get repurposed or mixed media kind of things. So I need to schedule time to work on the junk journals. These are pre-made zipper bags. Got my rivets, some extra hardware there, bag hardware. really nice snaps. So this is probably not the best place for hardware. I should create a dedicated station for that. And then more hardware here. Looks like junk in that box. Like pens and stuff, like a junk drawer. Nail polish, which I can discard. Stickers, that should go into the junk journal station. And I won't be able to get in that bottom box without ripping it. Moving over here to the center console, I have a bone folder and a little ruler that doesn't belong here. This is to use with a zipper template, some paper clips, some whiteout and glue, embellishments for junk journals, more little stickers. Here in this caddy, I have some pretty paints. Can create a painting station, webbing for handles, rubber gloves for the clear acrylic resin stuff, ribbon, duct tape, binder clips, which are just pretty. I told you I'm getting too much stuff. Thread, just random out of place, needs to get in a thread pile. These are really good supplies that I ordered from My Handmade Space. They're like stunning, gorgeous, and I'm afraid to put them away for fear that they won't get used. So I just want to reiterate that I really need to set up the hardware station. Coat pattern. What a gorgeous coat I just made. I do have a pattern section, but I'm still leaving that out because the coat project is ongoing, so I'm not quite ready to put that away. Then under this table, I have a cart. Oof. So one side is batting and interfacing scraps. One side is fabric scraps. And then when you come underneath, a collection of Post-it notes, paper crafting, crinkler, unopened cute little notepad, gel pens, more just regular pens, tissues. I know there are pens inside of here, eyeglasses, fun cases. These I think are all full of assorted little cords and things I use for recording, so that could go in electronic station. These are these are rubber stamps. I've actually been looking for these. Let's get this open. Yep, ink pads and rubber stamps. So see, like there's not a lot of logic here, and this is the kind of disturbing to me, the organized person who likes things logical. Okay, this cart needs to have one dedicated purpose. It does not need to be the be all, end all, hold everything cart. So note to self, fix that. Then we got another really handy cart here, but I'm fearful it's become the same thing. My daughter was helping her boyfriend's mom move, and she matched up these cute vintage patterns for me. This is actually one I'm really excited to make. You know, that's Amy Butler fabric, and I have some of that. So I'd like to get these patterns out and in the queue to play with. More glue, random thread, clips. This looks like some satin blanket binding. Oh guys, this is depressing to me. I used to be so organized, and I just don't even understand how everything got to be such a mess. My little Olicio. this needs to get plugged in, or not plugged in, but put over by my ironing board. Got some cording down here for rope bowls, some little leftover vinyl. So I would say that this cart would be best served as my hardware cart. So let's convert that to a hardware cart. This caddy up here is extraordinarily useful, and what I think might be a really good use of it, because I have so many of them, is to make this caddy my pen caddy, just to hold pens. Okay, moving over here to the second side, more deluxe planners. These have to become something. Then that is going to require me to set aside time to junk journal, to work with mixed media. This has been on my list. These are some finished goods here, like little Christmas towels and crochet cloths and zipper bags. Then I have some yarn, which I have a lot more yarn than that, so I need to create a dedicated section for yarn. More journals and crafty stuff in that basket. Then moving down here, I feel like these little shelving systems could be put to such better use, and now they're really hiding behind this ladder. So you see my paper trimmer in there, some blank journals, an art journal, notepad. I was actually hoping to find these stamps. I want these to be in use right now, and I couldn't find them. I was looking for them last night. And this brand new ink pad. So I'm bringing these up because I'm ready to work with these beauties now. So you see how that's kind of buried behind here. So those organizers need to become dedicated storage for something other than random craft supplies. I'd love to hear your ideas, but maybe we'll come across something as we continue the journey through my space. So on the other side here is a second set of glass cabinets. And here I have some yardage of fabrics. This could be tidied up just a tiny bit, but I've been trying to keep the larger good cuts of fabric behind glass here so that they don't get dusty or faded. So more random thread. So I for sure need to create just a thread section. Some felt there, embroidery floss, more awesome planners, which I feel like I could get in circulation, like designate functions for each of these binder type planners, and that could be super fun. This is just a little decor items here. Have my glitters and sparkles, which I feel like could go in a whole paper crafting section. Some random patterns tucked back here. I definitely need just a pattern department. Some half yard cuts of fabric, more random yardage, serger thread. Yep, definitely seeing an opportunity for thread organization. Okay, I have a Brother sewing machine here. I personally don't like to sew on this, but it is really, really good for teaching people to sew. Have another Brother down below. Okay, feeling a little bit guilty here on all these sewing machines being tucked in the cabinet, doing no one any good. Cut yardage here. So for sure see an opportunity for the fabric to be stored better and in a way that I can use it, and I think I need to be able to see it. So that's what's happening here. Scary, right? And we are just jumping into this journey. All right, then moving over here, I'm satisfied with these bins. I've always loved these bins on the wall. I got them years ago at Home Goods, and these are my Anna Maria Horner and Amy Butler fabrics. And so I'm going to leave those just as they are, because my intent is to continue working with those on the regular. Okay, so that covers that back wall. There's hope, yes. All right, this desk here has 2 bookcases that hold it up, and that creates a nice height for me to sew at, because I can stand or sit. So these are some custom price tags I have made when I owned my shop. I love them, but I ought to really bundle them and sell them to someone who owns a shop and could use them. I got zippers in here. I got ribbon. I got binding. I got some mesh. This needs to be cleaned out. Mostly ribbon. I love the clear containers. A lot of potential here to find things that should belong in these clear containers, and then they can be organized on this bookshelf. These are fabric scraps, totally not sorted. Stamps. These are OG stamps from Stampin' Up! Days, and I love them, and I want to use them for those junk journals. So I need to set up a junk journal mixed media world. Then, moving under the desk, I have some blank mugs that can be sublimated. I have some car coasters that can be sublimated, some key fobs that can be sublimated. Down here, that's a kit for stamping letters on metal, and then it looks like I have envelopes in here and stickers. Then down here, more sublimation goodies. I have ribbon I can sublimate, sew on or iron on patches, a little t-shirt template, phone cases, more mugs. So this stuff buried under here is not getting me any more motivated to use my sublimation machine, which set me back quite a few dollars several years ago. Okay, got my serger out. I used that on my coat and I enjoyed using it. So I'm going to try to leave the serger out and not put it away, because I will be doing more garment sewing. So we're going to have to set up a serger station. I just got a second ironing board. I love this little guy. We're just going to go drawer to drawer. Stamps and art stuff, just junk like. Unsure what those are. Hot glue, a little bit of embroidery, ink pads, more stamps and file folders. Looks like some cast-off projects and those time cards and some double stick tape. Cast-off projects. Lots of pens. Okay, second one, 12 by 12 paper. So I think I could use those paper racks on the other shelf to hold 12 by 12 paper exclusively. So I've got some rivets in here, another glue gun that has never been opened, old business cards, more glue, tape, paper, barrette making supplies, jewelry making supplies, stickers, beads, ribbon, all kinds of fun, crayons, and coloring tools, hardware, a lot of bag hardware, zippers, more hardware and kind of little fun bead things. More price tags away from the other price tags, snap tape, hardware, snap installers, elastic, More hardware. Some binding and rick-a-rack. And buttons and heat and bond and pin cushions. So these drawers would be good for hardware, but it is hard to remember what's in there. So I think these drawers would be suited for like the smaller things like ink pads and stamps and glue guns and zippers and things that I can really label from the exterior. So that needs a giant makeover. Up here I have this caddy, which I love and use, but it also gets messy fast. So I'm thinking of just dedicating this caddy to scissors and rulers. That's it. Just give it one theme, cutting. So I can work on that. Under the cabinet here, I have scrap fabric from a quilt that was like a year ago. Oh, looky here, another sewing machine. And it's a Janome Skyline. I was going to give this machine away when it was brand new if we had 100,000 subscribers. We are still 40,000 subscribers from that. So it's a great machine too. And I love sewing on it as well. But how many sewing machines does a girl need? I do have some ideas. I want to get into thread painting, and that kind of requires you to mess up your tension a bit. So maybe one of those machines I could dedicate to thread painting. Just bought a big old 15-yard bolt of fusible fleece. I want to keep this out and accessible because I'm going to be working with it a lot. I have more pens over here. Some of these are specialty pens that go with the Cricut, which I need a Cricut station. I scored this gorgeous hen picnic basket at the thrift shop, and I'm planning to use it for 4th of July. I'm going to use it beyond 4th of July, but the first time I'll use it is 4th of July. Behind those cubbies are books that really don't need to be in there. So I'm going to sort through that. Then coming back to the middle of the room, I have a whole nother world, an embroidery machine, which I also very much need to just go ahead and get an embroidery station set up so I can turn that on. This is the heat press, some more bags that I can sublimate. I like the heat press here. I have a mug press to go with it to make those mugs. So this here could be sublimation station. So that means the rest of this stuff up here needs to come off. More hardware here. So if that pink cart gets turned into the hardware cart, I could get that little wooden topper for that cart and put the cam press on top of it potentially. I have this fun little tool. I made a video about this little tool, but it can't be really used right here on the corner of this. So this could go at my paper crafting station, as could this. And I think the paper crafting station ought to be positioned in this back corner on this tried and true super solid desk that has lots of shelves on each side, except I have it jam full of children's books. So we want to convert this peach desk to the paper crafting desk. I have shelves I can hang up here. So this corner, paper crafting world. Yay! Next to that, I have another cart that has my printer on it. So I think this cart would be good to be turned into the embroidery station because I can put all of the embroidery tools in the drawer and then sort the thread and make that really nice. So unless we come up with another purpose for this white cart, it's going to become an embroidery station. This is a sublimation printer. I got the ink for it, so it is ready to roll. I just really need to use it. It needs to stay with this computer, so This area here could just be the actual sublimation design area, which would be fabulous. Then moving back here to the center island, on both sides, I have dividers. So, as promised, here is more yarn. So one section of this should be where all the yarn is found. Then I have a lot of these little cubby box dividers. Right now there's fabric scraps in there. If I sorted the fabric by color, that might be a good use of those boxes still. This is just really random offcast products. I was thinking about like hosting a YouTube live with just all the random stuff that I have made, and however much I can fit in a box, and then you all just bid on that box if it speaks to you, and it will be on its way to you, because they're all still good. It's just I can't use them all. So more containers here and fabric scraps. Got this great little thing. I have a lot of my machine feet in here and machine accessories, so I could see that still serving its purpose well. I just need to get it labeled so that I know. My Cricut mat is far from my Cricut. Random fabric here. Serger thread. So, thread department coming soon. Then moving here on the other side, this is an opportunity for paper storage for sure. So I'm thinking this whole side here should be paper crafting mixed media heaven. I got my stickers, more paper. I just really need to get all the paper and journals in one spot and then have the space to work on it. This process, this looking in everything and thinking out loud has actually been incredibly helpful for me. Let me know if you have other ideas on how I can organize and improve this space. Again, I'm gonna watch this video back and then group the items on paper and see what other ideas come up. Once I implement, I'll make another video and show you the new and improved space. Hi friends, we're back in the studio 9 days later. I have made slow and steady progress with this space. I'm going to take you in each nook and cranny and show you what it looks like after some love and care. And then I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the strategy that I used to accomplish this goal. So you may remember that these glass cases looked pretty on the glass part, but then they were full of junk on the part that you couldn't see. So I have cleaned that out. And this product here on the left is product that is good and I could actually gift to someone. So I'm no longer embarrassed to open up this cupboard and have a look inside. And if anybody else opened it up, I wouldn't be embarrassed either. Then I put some of my favorite things just to inspire me here on the shelves. Then I took some spools of twine there and put them in a little glass vase. So this cabinet, super happy with how that came together. Then on the second cabinet here, the only real change I made is I created a little basket for the patterns that I'm currently working with or want to work with. I do own more patterns, but those are the ones that I just wanted to have close at hand. And then I kind of tidied up this little shelf here. I use this caddy here only to hold rolls of the vinyl. Then I love this addition. I took one of these origami carts here. These are great. You can find them on Amazon. They fold up when you're not using them, but they're really heavy duty. And I dedicated it to scraps. So up here I have some little triangles and squares that were left over from another quilt. So I could just pull that tray out and work with those. These scraps here, I plan to get those cut up and put in bundles. And then I do have a little bit of whole cloth fabric there that I didn't have room for in the fabric cart, which I'm going to show you. Bits of interfacing. So this cart is dedicated purely to remnants and scrap. And I could tuck that right under this table. And it's not an eyesore, but it is definitely accessible. And when I want to work with that, I could just pull out the cart. Then I ended up with a whole empty cart here, so I can use that for future projects or moving machines around and things like that. This is a clever little project pouch here that I corralled all of my pre-cut paper patterns in. I am really excited to have them all in one space, because for inspiration I could just unzip that and lay out those pieces and have a real good time. Then over here I have another glass cabinet. I got the Cricut machine in there, and I did the same thing, sorted through everything, made sure that I wouldn't be embarrassed to open up this cabinet. This one I think is my favorite. One of the tips that I have for you here is to add the undershelf storage, and then you can get a little bit more room there with your shelves. So I have machines and thread, some finished bags that I can gift, then some journals, pens, glitter, and pretty little stones. As I mentioned, the Cricut is up there, and I could just easily pull that out and bring it down to the table and work with it. I did not change much on this shelf that's next door to that. It was pretty tidy with the exception of those paper dividers at the bottom, which I thought I was going to use, and then I ended up not needing. Now, moving over here, all of the fabric that are in these top bins here are the Amy Butler prints that I am actively working with. So I absolutely love that. But the most clever addition to this makeover, I think hands down, is this amazing fabric cart that I put together. I'm just going to bring that out here so we can get a good look at it. I found this 3-tier deep cart, which is divided. There's a center divider in each of the tiers, and I knew it would be perfect for housing my fabric. And it really is. I am just so happy. For the most part, this is my entire fabric collection. I tried to put the cottons that had some substantial cuts on the top here. I have a little bit of canvas and heavy bull denim. Then some more cotton here and smaller cuts. A little bit of apparel fabric and knits. But it is all folded. It is tidy. It is not going to fall down if I take a piece out of it. And it's mobile, so I can move this cart wherever I am working. Because it is also a black finish, it matches nicely, I think, over here with the other shelves. So I love that addition. I did something similar under the sewing desk with my hardware. If you remember, this cart here just had a hodgepodge of items in it. So I have these little side caddies here. The just float off the side there, so I could take them off and set them on the desk if I want, with my good zippers in them. I try to divide the hardware by colors, so I have my antique bronze, my rose gold, just a tiny bit of gold. Then down here, a little bit more of the antique bronze. Got some nice rivets back here. And then this tray here is holding the divided rivets in a variety of colors. And then underneath there is all silver or nickel hardware. So I love that I have all the hardware in one spot. And again, it's mobile. I'm sure you own a cart or two. The trick with the carts is really assigning them a single function. And then my main sewing station is still in the same spot. I just cleaned this up a little bit. I added a divider here. I already own this. I just repurposed it. And then after I cleaned up the hardware, I freed up this cute little toolbox that I've had forever. And I was able to create just a little essentials caddy here to keep right on my sewing space. I got some bandages there, pins, seam ripper, little snips, extra bobbins, my extra needles. Lifts out, I got the things to clean out the bobbin case, a backup rotary cutter blade, safety pins, and one more pin cushion. So I thought that was super clever. I did put my wider machine deck on the machine, so happy about that. And then over here, I went through the drawers and I was specifically looking for hardware and paper. The rest of the drawers do still have the odds and ends in them. I was also looking for rubber stamps. And I was able to organize those really nice over here. These are the modular storage units that you can buy at Michael's. They put them on sale every couple of weeks. So I had bought a bunch of these and had not really thought through the plan for them. A while ago, I turned them into the center island, which I really like having. In fact, I think this is the best use of these modular units, is to build yourself an island. Up until I did this sort, I don't think I was using the dividers properly. Look at how amazing these work for stamp storage. I just could not be happier. And oddly enough, I thought I had a lot more rubber stamps than I actually do. I did something similar here with all of my 12 by 12 paper. And you can see it's just so easy to access it. So I really don't think that I realized the full capacity of these units. So that's really exciting. I still have the heat press up here. I love having the cam press right here. I added this mat and this divider here. These are some backpacks that I picked up that I can sublimate. So I have a whole sublimation section under my desk, but I wanted to put projects and materials in this divider that I intend to use soon, so I can keep them top of mind. Over here I have the dies for the cam press and some little tiny hardware bits. So those still work really good here, and that's still quite relevant. I don't know if you remember, but this back corner was so depressing and just dingy as heck, and it's just so cute now. I added some peel and stick wallpaper. I hung up a little fabric bunting there. And these drawers, which are stained dark brown, that are just fabulous. There's still a ton of potential for me to organize these and label them. Really look good with the contrast of the white paper. And I extended that onto the desk top there, which I think really brightens up that corner. Then my funky coral desk, which has been a multitude of colors, and I do love this desk, but it was getting really tired looking. Kind of got a makeover when I draped some of the quilts that I've been working on right on top of it. And I got a little chalkboard here, and then behind there a whole bunch of children's books that I intend to use in my mixed media art and paper crafting and junk journaling adventures. I was able to dedicate this cart as the embroidery cart. So now I can move the embroidery machine around the room. It's ready to be plugged in and used, so that's terrific. Then over here, I dedicated this third origami cart strictly to foam and interfacing, and the ironing board is in the way, so I can't pull that all the way out, but you can see I have a nice collection of foam on the bottom, fusible fleece, some pellets, and then on the top I have a little bit of Decoville Light and some Pellon 809. So it's great to have all the interfacings in one spot. So I know how much I have on hand. This little area here didn't change much. It was pretty cute. Anyways, I did add this little glass top calendar here, which I can use my dry erase markers on, so that's kind of fun. And then I put the irons on my Lazy Susan. Before I had the cam press on this, but I think this actually works pretty good with the irons. I found my baby Alicio, so I'm kind of excited to use that. Under here I have all of the sublimation supplies, which I want to use, but I don't need those out. It really takes a lot of effort to get the sublimation machine going. So when I want to work with those supplies, I can get them out. I did clean up this little cart here. It's kind of miscellaneous paper, artsy type thing, but I got all my little maker tools that I recently purchased together, and those are near the island here in the paper, so hopefully I'll be inclined to play with those and experiment some more. And then coming around the back side here, I have an extra wide ironing board that I'm keeping here because when I work with bigger pattern pieces or bigger projects, I'm going to get this out and set it up behind my sewing table so I have extra space to lay things out. So in here on this back side, I have a lot of these cubbies that have fabric scraps in them. I have a little bit of finished product down here, so you can see this is not bad. And then I have my yarn barn here, so that's good. Yeah, so let me just give you a spin around here so you can see how everything came together. I think, dare I say, I am finally satisfied with this creative space in this house that we moved in 2.5 years ago. It really took me quite some time and a lot of experimenting to get this space to the point where I'm happy with it. And so by making that first video, I was kind of thinking out loud and then identified spaces where I thought I could group those items together. Then in addition to grouping the items together, I grouped like colors of furnishings together. So like these are all kind of the gunmetal and the black, and that works really well here. And so it brings that cohesiveness together. Most of the furnishings down here are the white laminate, with the exception of this back corner here, which I have assorted pieces that I've painted many times. So this is kind of the eclectic corner here, so that all got grouped together. And then this more modern white surface here makes a great backdrop for my videos. I'm really curious how you would describe your own space. Is it in need of a makeover? Are you totally overwhelmed? Remember, what inspired me to make over this space was I couldn't find what I was looking for, and I was starting to accumulate duplicates. So if that's something that is happening to you, those are sure signs that it's time for a little deep clean and organization in your creative space. It's amazing how much inspiration and revitalization you'll get by sorting through your stuff. I promise you, initially it will seem hopeless, or you'll, be frustrated that you have so much stuff or that you let it get to be such a mess. Just keep working. Give yourself 2 solid weeks and just do a little bit each day. That's what I did. Eventually, you're going to reach that tipping point where you're going to get excited about the potential. Once that happens, you're at the halfway mark, and then the rest from there is easy going.